Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone. I am Dr. B. Arifa Farzana, going to conduct the online course on chemistry of food. Before going into the food chemistry, let's know about what is meant by food chemistry. Food chemistry is the study of chemical processes and interactions of all biological and non-biological components of foods. The biological substances include such items such as meat, poultry, lettuce, beer, milk, etc. What is the need of food? Why we have to give much importance to food? Food is the most essential requirement for sustaining human life. Even if a human being does not have shelter over their head or clothes, they should need a wholesome nutrition to survive. Food is something that provides nutrients. Nutrients are the substances that give our body growth, activity, and all the functions such as breathing, digesting food, and keeping warm, and to repair and for the keeping the immune system healthy. The food is very essential. The importance of food nutrition. What are the different colors of food that is available and what is its nutritional impact? The different colors of food are white, yellow, red, purple, and green. The white color food imparts health benefits such as it prevents ulcers, it lowers cholesterol, it gives us healthy heart, and it protects our immune system. And the yellow color food also gives us a healthy heart, it lowers the cholesterol, and it gives the healthy joints and tissues. It supports our eyesight and it also prevents cancer. And the red color food imparts the decrease in blood pressure, skin protection, and prevents cancer, etc. The purple color food items also gives us a healthy blood vessels, helps memory, anti-aging characteristics, and a healthy urinary system. And coming to the green color foods, it gives us increase in eyesight, healthy bones, immune system, and prevents cancer. The dietary guidelines for each and every person should follow is that the 55% of calorie should come from carbohydrates, 15% from protein, and 30% from fat. A body needs 50 different nutrients which can be divided into 6 classes. That is carbohydrates, vitamins, fats, minerals, proteins, and water. The major biomolecules that are present are carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Coming to know about the chemistry of carbohydrates, the main function of carbohydrate is that it provides a body with energy. The carbohydrate which we intake of food gets easily digested and broken down into glucose before they enter into the bloodstream. I have listed out the top 10 foods which are rich in carbohydrates. And coming to the chemistry of proteins, which are all the vegetables, they contain high content of protein. There is spinach, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, parsley, cucumbers, green pepper, cabbage, tomatoes, etc. And these proteins, they are large, complex molecules and they play many critical roles in our body. They impart the regulation of body's tissues and organs. When these proteins are completely broken down, the end products are amino acids. Coconut. The coconut kernel contains 90% of saturated fatty acid and 10% of unsaturated fatty acids. The saturated fatty acids are commonly MCTs, which contain 6 to 12 carbon atoms in their chains. And this MCT is mainly made up of 12 carbon long lauric acid chain. The following nutrition is provided by the USDA for one piece of fresh coconut, that is 45 gram of fresh coconut, measures calories 160, fat 15 gram, sodium 9 milligram, carbohydrate 6.8 gram, fiber 4 gram, sugars 2.8 gram, protein 1.5 gram. Fish is one of the most important non-vegetarian, which contains the major constituents water, protein, lipid, and ash. And these 4 components account to about 96 to 98% of total tissue constituents. The constituents which range the values for the edible portion of common fish species are the water content range from 65 to 90%, protein 10 to 22%, fat 1 to 20%, mineral 0.5 to 5%. The carbohydrates, vitamins, nucleotides, and the other protein nitrogenous compounds are also present in small amounts. And these minor components also promote the growth and development of the organisms and play a vital role in maintaining the system. And fish and the other aquatic foods also contain the major source as polyunsaturated fatty acids. Therefore, most of the polyunsaturated fatty acids such as eicosapentaenoic acid EPA and docosahexaenoic acid are obtained by consuming fish items. What are omega-3 fatty acids and what they do in our body? And the omega-3 fatty acids are found in foods such as fish and flaxseed, and in dietary supplements such as fish oil. The 3 main omega-3 fatty acids are alpha-linolenic acid, there is ALA, eicosapentaenoic acid EPA, and docosahexaenoic acid DHA. And this ALA is found mainly in plant oils such as flaxseed, soybean, and canola oils. And DHA and EPA are mostly found in fish and other seafood items. And this ALA is an essential fatty acid which we can obtain from foods and beverages which we consume. Omega-3 fatty acids are the important components of the membranes that surround each cell in our body. They are especially found higher level in retina, brain, and sperm cells. They also provide calories in our body, energy, and impart main functions in our heart, blood vessels, lungs, immune system, and endocrine system. Do we get enough omega-3s? Most of the people in United States do not get enough EPA and DHA, but they get enough ALA from the foods they eat. They get only small amounts of EPA and DHA. What happens if they don't get omega-3s? Sufficient amount of omega-3s, the deficiency will lead to cause rough scaly skin and red swollen itchy rash. And what are the effects of some omega-3s on health? And this omega-3s lead to lower risk of several chronic diseases. Coming to fish bone, mineralogical analysis via X-ray diffraction indicate that Cleaned tilapia carcasses powder is composed of hydrated hydroxyapatite C18PO46 twice. This chemical analysis determined by using an energy dispersive X-ray spectrophotometer indicated that this carcasses powder is essentially composed of calcium and phosphorus. Egg. Egg is also an important nutrient which imparts protein to our body, which acts as a major source of vitamins, minerals, and fat. And the egg composition, it consists of outer shell, air cell, shell membranes, thin albumin white and thick albumin white, yellow yolk, etc. And it gives a high nutritive content, and also it imparts major source of vitamins, minerals, and fat, and it acts as a protective barrier against bacterial penetration. Meat. Which protein is present in meat? The two most abundant myofibrillar proteins, that is myosin and actin, are responsible for the muscle's overall structure. The remaining protein consists of connective tissue as well as organelle tissue. There is collagen and elastin. And what are the proteins that are present in liver? The good one and the bad one. The good one which is good for health, the bad one which is bad for health. Good one is that this protein, this liver, which contains low content of sodium, and it's a good source of vitamin B6, phosphorus, zinc, and manganese, and a very good source of protein, vitamin A, riboflavin, niacin, folate, vitamin B12, pantothenic acid, iron, copper, and selenium. The bad is that it is high in saturated fat and very high in cholesterol. Coming to the chemistry of fats, triglycerides, cholesterol, and other essential fatty acids, the scientific term for fats the body can't make on its own. They store energy, insulate us, and it protects our vital organs. And also, it acts as messengers like protein do. The top 10 food sources which are rich in fats are avocado, dark chocolate, cheese, seafood, nuts, whole eggs, olive oil, coconut oil, yogurt, and chia seeds. And this fat provides greater energy value per gram of the nutrient. Oil. In order to know about the oil, the main important terms which define the quality of oil is that the iodine value and the saponification value. Using this iodine value and the saponification value, we can identify the goodness of oil. Iodine value is nothing but it is a measure of the amount of unsaturated fatty acids that is present in the oil. Even though the iodine value is primarily used in industry, it is of value to us because it gives an indication of the oil's stability and health properties. Some of the iodine values of some common oils are listed over here. One is coconut oil, which contains the iodine value of 10, palm kernel oil, which contains iodine value 37, beef tallow contains iodine value 40, palm oil 54, olive oil 81, peanut oil 93, canola oil 98, etc. Among these oils, coconut oil has the iodine value of 10. It indicates that it contains a high amount of saturated fatty acid and very small amount of unsaturated fatty acid. If the iodine value of the oil is higher, the amount of unsaturation will be high. Coconut oil is 92% saturated and 8% unsaturated. Soybean oil, in contrast, it has the iodine value of 130. It contains only 15% of saturated fatty acid with 85% of unsaturated fatty acid. And hence, this is the reason why its iodine value is high. If the iodine value is high, the stability of the oil is lesser and it gets vulnerable to oxidation and forms free radical products. If the iodine values are high, it undergoes easily oxidation process as well as polymerization reactions. During heating, such as when we cook, these oils which are having high iodine value undergo oxidation process easily and polymerization process also. And the polymerization process is an irreversible process resulting in the formation of fatty acids to become hard, insoluble, and plastic-like solids. A simple example is that if we use these high iodine containing oils and this type of polyunsaturated vegetable oils which are rich in iodine, when these oils are cooked and sometimes the oil spills onto the outside of the pan, if it is not thoroughly cleaned, we can notice a very hard amber colored varnish like substance on the bottom of fry pans, and this is called as polymerization of vegetable oil. And when such high iodine values are heated, it results in the formation of polymerized fatty acids. When these oils are undergoing exposure to higher temperature or heat, the degree of polymerization is also higher. Due to the process of this oxidation, it is associated with various health problems including cancer and atherosclerosis. And coming to the conclusion that coconut oil has the lowest iodine value among any dietary oil, and hence it is very resistant to oxidation and polymerization. It is a very safe cooking oil. And it is advisable that we should not use oil which is having high iodine value over 80. Ghee. Ghee contains omega-3 and omega-9 essential fatty acids along with vitamins A, D, E, and K. And ghee, we know that it is obtained from pastured cows, and it is one of the highest natural sources of CLA. CLA is conjugated linolenic acid. And 9 phenolic antioxidants and various minerals are present in ghee. Ghee is known for its longevity and it's for elemental qualities, and it prevents the aging characteristics by enriching the living body. And it also eliminates aid for energy, sexual vitality, skin and eye health, and also acts as a lubricant and for alkalizing the blood. Coming to the chemistry of beverages, first thing we strike in our mind is milk, because milk we often use in our day-to-day life. What are the principal constituents that are present in milk are water, fat, proteins, lactose, and minerals. It also contains trace amount of other substances such as pigments, enzymes, vitamins, phospholipids, and gases. Milk is a nutrient-rich, white-color liquid food and is obtained from mammary glands of mammals. And 1 cup of milk contains about 42 calories. Coming to the green tea, nowadays we prefer to drink green tea rather than tea. This green tea, how it gives the energy boost to our health. The energy booster that is present in tea is the amino acid that is L-theanine. And this L-theanine helps to slow the body absorption of caffeine. And this helps to keep process our body move effectively, resulting in a longer lasting energy boost. What is in coffee? The active ingredient that is present in coffee is that a caffeine. This caffeine, it is a psychoactive substance which works in our brain by blocking the effects of an inhibitory neurotransmitter called adenosine. Is caffeine in coffee acidic or basic? Caffeine is not acidic, but coffee is acidic. However, caffeine is basic in nature, coffee is acidic in nature with a pH of about 7, around 5.0. And this caffeine present in coffee stimulates the nervous system, which can cause an increase in acidity in our stomach, irrelevant of our teeth unless we accidentally swallow it. Curd. The important item that is derived from milk is curd. The chemical name of curd is lactic acid, that is 2-hydroxypropanoic acid. What is the chemistry behind this curd formation? As we know, obviously, that milk is undergoing fermentation process, which gets converted into a product known as curd. And this curd or yogurt is obtained from milk by means of fermentation process. And this milk consists of globular proteins called casein. And this curd is obtained by the chemical reaction that is taking place between lactic acid present in milk, bacteria, and casein. And during this fermentation process, the bacteria use enzymes to produce energy from lactose. The byproduct that is obtained during ATP production is lactic acid. And this lactic acid acts on the globular proteins present in the milk and denatures them. The chemistry of curd formation. The denaturation that is destroying the tertiary and quaternary structures of proteins and the globular proteins are converted into fibrous proteins, thus giving a thick texture to the milk due to coagulation of the proteins. Yogurt that is obtained from milk, it is loaded with several essential nutrients such as calcium, vitamin B2, vitamin B12, potassium, and magnesium. An advantage of yogurt over milk is that it lightens our stomach and it is easily digestible when compared to milk. Coming to buttermilk, it is another product derived from milk. This buttermilk contains vitamins, potassium, calcium, and traces of phosphorus. And 1 cup of buttermilk contains 157 calories and 8.9 grams of fat. But 1 cup of whole buttermilk contains 152 calories and 8.1 grams of total fat. And in some cases, low-fat buttermilk is also available. Coming to the chemistry of vegetables. In order to know much about the vegetables, we should come across the vulnerable vitamins that are present and the fat-soluble nutrients which are all present in vegetables. The vulnerable vitamins, these vulnerable vitamins, they are unstable nutrients which gets exposed when it comes to cook. And the vulnerable vitamins are vitamin C and vitamin B. They are the most unstable nutrients when it comes to cooking. Because they are water soluble, they leach out of the vegetables into the cooking water. If you boil your vegetables or microwave, the vitamins such as thiamine, folate, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, and vitamin C will get exposed. Vitamin D is undergoing solubility in water, but it is getting least affected by cooking and preparation. Vitamin C is most likely to get lost in cooking. Coming to the fat-soluble nutrients such as vitamin A, E, and K, they are more stable and far better during cooking. As such, the carotenoids do so. The antioxidants that are found in leafy greens, carrots, winter squash, sweet potato, and in case of lycopene, tomatoes, they are more stable. While we cook vegetables, the cell walls of the vegetables get broken down, and hence more of the nutrients are getting released from these cell walls. The cooking vegetables also supply more antioxidants, including beta carotene, lutein, and lycopene, than when they do raw. The cooked vegetables also deliver more minerals. That is spinach, beet greens, and Swiss chard. They are high in calcium, but a compound called oxalic acid binds with calcium. Heating releases bound calcium and the body absorbs, making this mineral available. The cooking vegetable also increases the amount of magnesium and also iron that is available to the body. In some cases, vegetables are better to eat raw than to be cooked. Some of the vegetables such as cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, etc., they contain the enzyme called myrosinase. When you chop or chew these vegetables, they get converted into glucosinolates, and this act as the anti-cancer compounds called isothiocyanates. Prepping vegetables. When you prep these vegetables, some of the things we should know are: wash before cutting. If you cut a vegetable, it breaks its cell walls, allowing more of the nutrients to escape into any water or to the contact surface. By washing, much of the nutrients that are present in the cell walls get exposed, and they will be leached out of the water. Another thing, keep the peel on. Much of the nutrients that are present in vegetables are found in or just under the vegetable peel, so leave the peel on whenever possible. Cook soon after cutting. Nutrients can be destroyed when exposed to light and air. Cook and eat vegetables soon after cutting keeps the vitamins and minerals secure in their cells as long as possible. Cut larger or uniform pieces. If you cut larger pieces or uniform pieces of vegetables, most of the nutrients will get retained and fewer nutrients will only get lost to heat, light, or cooking water. Here are some tips how to cook the vegetables to retain maximum amount of nutrition. You should use little water and it should be cooked for minimum amount of time. Steaming and microwaving is also another method to retain the maximum nutrition as compared to boiling or blanching. This steaming and microwaving will restore the maximum amount of nutrient. Another one, instead of boiling potatoes, you should, before mashing them, just you steam them. Retains the proteins and vitamins that are present in the potato. Instead of blanching broccoli, green beans, or asparagus, steam or microwave them until crisp tender. The 5 super simple ways to get pesticides off your produce is that give it a salt water soak. That is, soaking fruits and vegetables in a 10% salt water solution removes of its pesticides that are present in fruits and vegetables. Another one, soak it in vinegar. If you use the vinegar solution, this vinegar solution is an alternative way to remove pesticide residues from fruits and vegetables. And this vinegar remove different types of bacteria that are present in the food items. Cleaning it with baking soda and water. 1 ounce of baking soda to 100 ounces of water is another way to remove of the pesticides. Wash it with just cold water. Rinsing the vegetables and fruits with cold water reduces the 9 out of 12 pesticides gets reduced. Peeling off. Peeling off the skins of is another way to remove the pesticide consumption. Coming to the next thing, that is important item which we use in our kitchen is that turmeric. And this turmeric is an important culinary item which plays a major role as an antibacterial activity and antimicrobial activity. And this turmeric is often used to clean the meat before cooking. Why? Means the active ingredient that is present in turmeric is curcumin, which helps to decrease the number of bacteria present on the meat. And hence, it is well known for its antimicrobial activity. And this curcumin present in turmeric, it acts as a chemical to impregnate a cooking surface, which kills the bacteria that comes in contact with such surface. Coming to another important item used in kitchen is onions. And we all know while we cut onion, this onion brings tears in our eyes. Why it does it so? This onion produces the chemical irritant known as syn-propanethiol S oxide. It stimulates the eye's lacrimal glands so they release tears. And this synthase enzyme converts the amino acid sulfoxides into sulfenic acid. And this sulfenic acid, it is unstable. It gets rearranged itself into syn-propanethiol S oxide. What are the constituents of chutney? We all know that the traditional item that is used in breakfast is chutney. It is just a relish-like chaas that is originated in India. It consists of the ingredients including a combination of fruits and vegetables along with herbs and spices that create a sweet and spicy flavor. And it can be served in the form of jam and served raw like relishes. Coming to the carrot, why these carrots are orange in color? And some of the vegetables and fruits are also orange in color. Why? Means it contains the main pigment called as beta carotene, and this beta carotene is the main pigment that is responsible for the orange color of carrot. This carrot gets its bright orange color from beta carotene, and it also contains another lesser amount of alpha carotene, gamma carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. And this beta carotene present in the carrot, it absorbs in the range of 400 to 500 nanometer region of the visible spectrum with a peak absorption of about 450 nanometer. Why is chili color red? The pigment that is present in the lycopene present in chili imparts red color to it. As the name suggests, it is red in color and it can be consumed as it or it can be broken down and made into powder. The color of chili spice powder is due to the presence of red pigmented carotenoids. The main pigments are capsanthin, capsorubin, zeaxanthin, and cryptoxanthin. The carotenoids are very stable, intact plant tissue. These carotenoids get easily auto-oxidized when they get exposed to heat, light, and oxygen, and hence it leads to the less intense coloration of spice powder. Why are chilies pungent? The spiciness in the chili pepper is known for its pungency, and this is due to the presence of group of compounds called capsaicinoids. The capsaicin is the major spice producing alkaloid that is present in pepper. Nowadays, the natural chili powder red is not available, and most of the chili powders are sprayed with the artificial coloring agent called Sudan red dyes. And this Sudan red dyes are used to color paprika, chili powder, and curries. They are also known carcinogens and hence they are banned to use in foods. And this Sudan dyes are a family of more than 10 synthetic industrial solvent dyes. And this solvent dyes are typically used to color oils and waxes, including shoe polish. Which fruits are rich in iron content? The major iron content containing fruits are listed over here. And this iron, the major role of iron in our body is that it helps our red blood cells to transport oxygen to all parts of our body, and it helps to gives us energy whole in our body, and it reduces the symptoms of tiredness and fatigue. And this iron is one of the mineral that is often added to the water supply in order to help reduce tooth decay. Salt. Salt is one of the most common item that is used in kitchen. It consists of the formula NaCl, and this NaCl is representing the ratio of 1:1 containing sodium and chloride ions. And this salt is used as a condiment and food preservative. Without salt, we can't prepare any food item. This sodium ions present in salt regulate the fluid balance in the body. And the chloride ions, they are necessary for proper nerve function and respiration. And both of these ions are supplied by this salt NaCl. Sugar. Similar to that of salt, the sugar is also one of the most familiar ingredient which we use in kitchen. It is containing the generic name for its sweet soluble carbohydrates which are used in food. Sugar has a chemical formula C12H22O11, and it is constructed with from different elements containing mainly carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Apart from that, these salts and sugars also work to preserve foods. From the ancient periods till now, this salt is acting as an effective preservative because it reduces the water activity of foods, and hence it retards the microbial growth and chemical reactions. Since salt is not given an E number, before the industrialization rise, that is refrigeration, artificial preservatives, vacuum sealing, and freeze drying, most of the foods were cured using mixtures of salt and sugar. And the salt and sugar increase the osmotic pressure, destroying bacteria and slowing the decay, promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria, and work together to improve the taste. The iodized salt contains iodine in the form of NaI. Idli. Idli is one of the traditional breakfast which is often used in South India. Idli is a very popular fermented breakfast, and it is a healthier and a nutritious breakfast which is mainly made of rice and black gram. And this idli is obtained by means of fermentation process. By leaving the idli batter overnight, the naturally occurring microorganisms, Leponostic mesenteroids and Streptococcus thermophilus, grow rapidly, outnumbering the initial contaminants and dominating the fermentation. And these microorganisms produce lactic acid and carbon dioxide that make the batter anaerobic and leave the product. And these changes that is taking place during fermentation results in the high significant nutritional point of view. And an increase in methionine, a limiting essential amino acid in legumes, greatly improves its protein value. The vitamin content of idli batter per 100 gram are 0.59 milligram of riboflavin, 0.59 milligram of thiamine, and 0.76 milligram of folic acid. Nowadays, the trendy item which we often use is pasta. This pasta, the place of origin of pasta is Italy. The main ingredient that is present in pasta is durum wheat flour. The other ingredients which are generally used are water. Sometimes eggs are also used along with. What is meal maker made of? The soya chunk, that is meal maker, it is a textured or texturized vegetable protein which is a nutritious meat that is made from defatted soy flour, a byproduct of extracting soybean oil. And this is acting as a principal source of protein supplement and which is acting as a metabolizing energy. And 1 bushel of soybean yields 48 lbs of soybean meal. Some, but not at all, soybean meal is also produced from the residue left after oil extraction. Coming to the natural sweeteners which are selling in the market are stevia, raw local honey, blackstrap molasses, real maple syrup, and coconut sugar. Stevia is a leafy herb that is used for centuries by native South Americans, and the raw local honey is one of the oldest natural sweetener, and this honey is sweeter than sugar. The artificial sweeteners is also used. One of the most artificial sweetener that is used is sucralose, and this sucralose is a chlorinated sugar that is 600 times as sweet as sugar. The 3 chlorine atoms that are present in sugar is replaced by 3 hydroxyl groups, and hence it is used in beverages, frozen desserts, chewing gum, baked goods, and other foods. The examples of some of the artificial sweeteners are saccharin, acesulfame K, sucralose, aspartame. The artificial sweeteners which are used in processing foods such as soft drinks, baked goods, candy, puddings, canned foods, jams, and jellies, and dairy products. The natural food colors that are used are carotenoids, chlorophyll, anthocyanin, and turmeric. The carotenoids have a deep red, yellow, or orange color, and the most common carotenoid is beta carotene, which is responsible for the bright orange color of sweet potatoes and pumpkins. And this beta carotene is soluble in fat, and it is a great choice for coloring dairy products, which typically have a high fat content. And this beta carotene is added to margarine and cheese. And the chlorophyll is another natural pigment that is found in all green colored plants. The mint or lime flavored foods such as candy and ice cream are sometimes flavored using chlorophyll. The best natural source for deep purple and blue color is anthocyanin. Grapes, blueberries, and cranberries owe their rich color to this organic compound. They are soluble in water and they can be used to color water-based products. That is, blue corn chips, brightly colored soft drinks, and jellies are often dyed with anthocyanins. Artificial food colors. These artificial food colors are obtained from the manufacture of coal tar, which is coming from coal. The most synthetic food dyes that are derived from petroleum or crude oil. And one of the dyes that is petroleum that doesn't have a petroleum base is blue number 2 or indigo tine, which is a synthetic version of plant-based indigo dye used to color blue jeans. Coming to the chemistry of fruits, is the fruit juice healthier than whole fruit? Fruit is healthier than fruit juice. Why? Means the first reason, the pulp and the skin of the fruit that is left behind is higher in dietary fiber. This dietary fiber plays a larger role than just promoting regular bowel movements. When you eat a fruit whole, The dietary fiber in the pulp binds to the natural sugar as the fruit in the fruit as it travels through your gastrointestinal tract. This binding action makes it harder and take longer for your body to absorb the sugar. As a result, it decreases the sugar rates in your blood at a slower and lower rate, and if you eat a fruit whole than if you drink straight fruit juice. This process lets your body use the sugar more as a direct energy source. In most of the fruit juices, a major portion of total soluble solid consists of sugar. In this way, drinking pure fruit juice leads to poorer regulation of blood sugar and increased calorie consumption when compared to eating whole fruits. Second reason is that the pulp and the skin of many fruits tends to be high in vitamins and fruit other nutrients. Extracting just the juice leaves behind much of these nutrients. For instance, oranges are a rich source of flavonoids, but much of the flavonoids are stored in the pulp and not in the juice. When we extract the juice, the more flavonoids get lost during oxidation. And hence, the presence of dietary fiber and other nutrients in the fruit skin and pulp therefore makes whole fruit significantly healthier than fruit juice. Preservatives. A preservative is a substance or a chemical that is often added to the food products to prevent decomposition by microbial growth or by undesirable chemical changes. There are two modes of preservation. One is chemical preservation and another one is physical preservation. Physical preservation involves refrigeration or drying. Chemical preservation involves adding chemical compounds to the product. Preservative food additives reduce the risk of foodborne infections, decreasing microbial spoilage, and preserve fresh attributes and nutritional quality. Some of the physical techniques involved are dehydration, UVC radiation, freeze drying, and refrigeration. In some cases, physical preservation methods and chemical preservation methods are used in combined form. Antimicrobial preservatives. The antimicrobial preservatives prevent degradation by bacteria. That is, it is mostly used from ancient time to till traditional period for pickling process and in adding honey to prevent the microorganism growth by modifying the pH level. The most commonly used antimicrobial preservative is lactic acid. The common antimicrobial preservatives that are listed out here, and among these common antimicrobial preservatives, nitrates and nitrites are also antimicrobial in nature. The mechanism that is played by these antimicrobial preservatives is that it inhibits the growth of the bacteria, and hence it is used for water-based home and personal care products such as isothiosolinates and formaldehyde releases, which can cause sensitization, allergic skin reactions, and toxicity to aquatic life. And the various E numbers and corresponding chemical compounds which are added for the corresponding food products are listed over here. Antioxidants. As the name suggests, the antioxidants, and these antioxidants prevent or inhibit the oxidation process. And the free radical pathway for the first phase of oxidative rancidification of fats is served out by antioxidants. And this oxidation process mostly spoil the food items, especially those food items which are containing higher fat content. Why this happens is that these fats quickly turn dry acid when get exposed to oxygen. The other antioxidants, most common antioxidant additives are ascorbic acid and ascorbates, and these antioxidants are commonly added to oils, cheese, and chips. Other antioxidants include the phenol derivatives such as BHA, BHT, TBHQ, and propyl gallate. Non-synthetic compounds that are used in food preservation are citric and ascorbic acids that degrades fruits and vegetables. For example, when we cut apples and potatoes, it gets exposed to brown in color due to the oxidation process. This ascorbic acid and tocopherol, which are vitamins, are used as common preservatives. The natural preservatives include rosemary and oregano extract, that is hops, salt, sugar, vinegar, etc. The traditional preservatives such as sodium benzoate, they have raised health concerns in the past periods, and hence benzoate was shown to cause hypersensitivity in some asthma sufferers, and hence this has caused re-examination to use as natural preservative which occur in vegetables. Coagulation of food. Coagulation is defined as the change in the structure of protein brought about by heat, mechanical action, or acids in food. Enzymes, they cause protein coagulation. That is, example is cheese making. Denaturation is the permanent alteration of protein structures by heat, acid, or agitation. It breaks the chemical bonds, that is hydrogen and disulfide bonds, that is holding the amino acids together, and hence it unravels the helical structure. Coagulation is the setting of protein when heat or acid is added to it. It traps liquids inside a solid. Chemical reactions that are involving in baking cake is that while we bake cake, we use flour, that is the powder form of grains, nuts, and beans. Wheat flour, the most common flour that is used in baking, and it is composed of starch and protein with a high levels of a class of protein known as gluten. When water is added to wheat flour, the gluten forms a heavy pliable mass, and this expands greatly under hot temperatures and sets for any desired texture. Leavening agents. These leavening agents such as baking soda, baking powder, and yeast dough its lightness. Baking soda, it is an additional acidic salt, releases carbon dioxide twice during baking process. When once it hits the water, it reaches a certain temperature. When it reaches a certain temperature in the oven, this heat helps the baking powder produce tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide, which make a cake light and fluffy. When yeast, a single-celled fungus that feeds on starch, is added to dough, it also releases carbon dioxide, giving the dough a light, delicate texture. And the top uses of baking soda. Baking soda is possessing most of the applications as antimicrobial activity, as a deodorant, underarm deodorant, as a toothpaste, as a dog odors and urine, as a face and body scrub, as an antacid, as a silver polish, as a oven cleaner, etc., etc. Browning reactions. This browning reaction is mainly coming under Maillard reaction, and this Maillard reaction is nothing but, that is, while we bake a cake, the chemical reaction that is taking place between amino acids, proteins, and reducing sugars, the temperature maintained as 300 degrees Fahrenheit. This Maillard reaction results in browning, which forms the crust of many baked goods such as bread. The Maillard reaction is not the same as caramelization, but both work together to create appetizing golden brown surfaces and an array of flavors. Emulsification and binding. The eggs in a cake mixture may fulfill one or more of the functions. Beaten egg, white egg is used. It gives the dough a light, fluffy consistency. This is possible because this egg white contains lecithin, that is a protein which coats the air bubbles created during beating, which stops the cake from sinking during baking. Lecithin is also acting as a binder to hold the cake together, and hence this egg yolk acts as a glaze, which acts as a source of protein for the sugar's Maillard reaction. Thank you. I thank all the participants who have registered for this online course. It's our honor and pleasure to thank all the participants and the organizing committee for giving me a chance to conduct an online course. Thank you.